life. If you believe in yourself, the world will believe in you. Because perception is reality.
Miss World 2000 is Miss India.
I was very lucky to have an upbringing where my parents gave me a sense of self, where I was given the ability to make my own choices. I think a lot of girls, especially in our country and many others, their ability to make choices is taken away from them. So I think it's very important for us to raise bold girls, for us to raise girls that push the envelope, for us to invest in the girls in our communities, in our countries, because once a girl stands on her own feet, she not just takes her family forward, she takes her community forward, which in part takes the country forward. Women are 50% of the world's population, and we have always had to take a step behind. And I think it is imperative, our prerogative and our responsibility, men, women alike, parents, grandparents, and as communities and societies, to empower our children, our girls. And I am a result of a family that empowered me. From I was 4 years old, my father encouraged opinions, where I used to sit with my parents' friends, and my dad comes from a middle class background, so does my mom, Ambala, conservative background. But he always asked for my opinion, and not in a flippant way, let's see what a 4-year-old has to say, but in a serious way. And that always made me feel like I'm important. And I told this story actually, I think I told it in my book, but it was really interesting. In military houses, they have nameplates outside your barracks where it says who's staying here. So my father was a major back then, and mother was a captain. So the nameplate said Major Ashok Kumar Chopra and the captain Madhu Chopra. So I looked at it when it was being installed and it was hammered into our house, and I asked my father, I must have been in kindergarten, I think that time. I asked my father, I said, do I live in this house? And he said, yes, you do. So I said, then why is my name not up there? And my dad changed the nameplate. And it said Priyanka Mimi Chopra KGB, which was kindergarten B. That is what I mean. Giving me a sense of self, not making fun of me. See how funny that was? It was not funny. It came from a serious place for me, even at 5. And it was taken seriously by my parents.
I was obsessed with Cinderella, like all kids are. With like fairy tales and Disney, and like I was like, I'm Cinderella. And I was a klutz as a child. Like I couldn't walk straight without dropping something or breaking something, or breaking some bones. And my dad used to call me Bandarella instead of Cinderella. Now Bandar in Hindi means monkey. And he used to say, you're a Bandarella. And I used to get really offended. I was like, why would you call me a Bandarella? I'm Cinderella. I could be pretty. I could wear a gown. I could be Cinderella. He was like, no, you drop shit around all the time. Somebody always has to be walking behind you so you don't break. You're a Bandarella. So one day I got really offended, and we had this conversation. And I went up to him, with all my emotions in check. I said, Dad, it makes me feel really bad when you say Bandarella. So he sat me down for the first time, seriously explained it to me. He said, whatever you are and whatever you might want to be, that is the best version of you. So you drop stuff around, or you are a clumsy and you're a klutz, but it's you. And that's what makes you special. Why would you ever want to fit into some glass slipper? And I was like, I didn't understand that. At 9, I think I understood it at 15 when I knew what a glass ceiling was, because he said, you don't want to fit into a glass slipper that someone has made for you, that you need to fit into. You break the glass ceiling. And at 15, I was like, whoa, that's what that meant. Until then, I was like, where's the glass ceiling? But it exists in such a big way, and that really shaped me. So things like that about my parents coming from a country like that really shaped who I was.
I have to be very honest that when I was 17 and 18, when I became Miss India and Miss World, it was the beginning of me even entertaining the idea of show business in my head, because I wanted to be an engineer. I was a physics math student. I wanted to be an aeronautical engineer. I wanted to build planes. I wanted to be in NASA. I come from an extremely academic family. No one in my wildest dreams in my family had imagined show business as a career. My grandmother, in fact, still asked me till about 10 years ago, "What do you do?" So I said, "I'm an actor." Yeah, but what do you act like? What's
What's
your job?
that mean?
Yeah, trust an Indian grandmother to ask you that. But so what changed with me when I became Miss World, which happened in London actually, it gave me a sense of self. When I was a teenager, I had a lot of self-esteem issues like most teenagers do, you know. You don't know what's happening with you. You don't know what your body is going through. You don't know. I was gawky. My hair was all funny and frizzy and I didn't know what to do with it. I had so much of it. And like I hated braids and my mom would make them. And, you know, so I had all of those issues even when I was in America. I went to high school in America and I was very confused with who I was and what I was supposed to be. I was bullied in school a little bit, not by everyone, but I had a bully, and she just made my life miserable and used to, you know, hate on me basis where I came from. I think that's probably all she knew to hurt me. She used to call me curry, she used to call me brownie, she used to say, "Go back to your country on the elephant you came on." And it got really, at 15, it got really hard for me.
Sure.
So I decided, you know, I want to go back to India, and I went back home. And I feel like that's when destiny played its game. My mum randomly sent photos without telling me to Miss India. I didn't know. I just thought that they called me because I was discovered. Yeah, teenage egos. And then it gave me a sense of confidence that I could walk onto the stage, speak the way I speak. And I've been raised to be an opinionated girl. My parents always told me, if you have an opinion, don't be afraid to share it. And that's all I did. I didn't know how to walk on heels. I tripped on my sari backstage 5 times. And then I was in like these velvet pants with boots on, and then I tripped on it again. I knew it would happen to me on stage. I still have PTSD about it. But I'm just saying, like, it gave me a sense of the fact that my personality and the way I speak and my confidence is what won me that crown, made me feel like confidence is your best accessory. There is nothing else you need. The only thing you need to wear well is your confidence.
Respect cannot be demanded, it has to be commanded. And I think when you walk into a room, you have to walk in with a sense of self. And that's very hard. When you're young and when you're new and you're scared, it's really difficult to do. But I always encourage young people, especially young girls, you know, and young people in general, in the world of information today, where information is coming at you left, right, and center, whether it's misinformation, fake information, correct information or not, you're getting all kinds of information. You have to really take time from your spirit and in your heart to see what actually affects you, what really moves you, what you care about, what is important to you, what are your priorities. And I think the noise just kind of goes away. And when the noise kind of goes away, you find that self-confidence. And that's what I tried to do. Is I, of course, was intimidated. Of course, I was, you know, weak in the knees and terrified. And, you know, but what I did was I tried to cut the noise out, and I took my next step, and I took my next step. And I didn't think about the large picture. I didn't think about where I was going. But I knew if I take one step and I make it excellent, and I take next step and I make it excellent, hopefully my journey will be excellent. And here we are now. Success is not, success is not a destination. People always think that, oh my God, this person's so successful because they've had a successful movie or a successful show. But success is a journey. You have to consistently always be successful. That's when you're really successful, because otherwise you'll be remembered for your last failure. And I've had a few, but I just have to compensate for my failure by just getting up and running. The more time you take to sort of mourn it, you're wasting that much more time in being successful. So you just have to, you know, perk up, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and just say, all right, what can I do? There's always a solution. I don't know how to say this. People call it arrogance, I call it self-assurance, but I am who I am. You like it, great. You don't like it, I don't care. That's who I've always been. So whether I'm coming to America, whether I go to India,
I'm always true to just who I am. If you try and change yourself according to thinking that, oh, I'm going to a different country, or, I need to please, or I need to not be alien enough, or you're overthinking it. People have to like you or relate to you for who you are. You can't be someone else suddenly. So I've stayed very true to who I am, whether it's in India or here. I mean, as much as I can, of course. Well, when I became Miss India, I sort of was on strange ground myself, because I was in college, I was studying, and now I'm suddenly Miss World, and I was traveling all over the world, being an ambassador, and suddenly movie offers started coming to me from India, because I think producers thought that it would make business sense to, have a Miss World in a movie, and I guess it did, because in my first or second films, I won a lot of awards. I didn't think I could act. I just went in there with the idea of, okay, I can learn a new skill set. I may not know what acting is about, but I can learn. So that's how I taught myself. I've never been to film school. I've taught my career has been my film school. I've fallen down, I've dusted myself off. I've been okay to fail. I don't like failure. I'll never let the same failure happen to me again, because I learn from it. I like knowledge. I like learning from the people around me, and I don't think anyone reaches a point, no matter how successful you are in life, where you can't learn something new. And I think that sort of got me to where I am, and that's been a big part of my work. I remember when no one wanted to ask me a thing, and I get that. I remember when, and I still am, like sometimes there's so many fights that I do, but I remember when nobody wanted my opinion, or I remember when I had to work on, when I was just the side chick to the guy, and I had to work and do small but important, significant parts to prove that I can and I will, and then triumph. So no one can be that. You can't be like, oh, Destiny's gonna knock on my door one day. No, it won't. You have to be able to recognize opportunities, because there'll be a lot of them that come into your life, and once you recognize an opportunity, you have to seize the day and work bloody hard, because there'll be 25 other people who will do it. I was told that I won it because of confidence, because I asked later, there were so many more beautiful women than me, but of course I was curious. I was like, what is it? And they were like, just when you speak, you're just eloquent and confident. And and I was 18, and I realized how important that was. I mean, I was Miss World at 18 just because I was confident. So it made me understand that confidence truly is the key to getting ahead in life.
Priyanka Chopra for Barfi.
This is Priyanka Chopra's second piece.
The very talented Priyanka Chopra for the single which has gone triple platinum in India. If your life were a book, what would the title be?
Unfinished.